What's up, guys? Back with another video. Today I'm going to be answering a viewer question. His question was, how do I get drive and motivation? And I think I've kind of answered this question before, but I'm just going to let it rip, talk about what I think on the matter. Before I start the video, I want to say, I think people get it in their head that, when they're starting something, when they're setting down their path on learning a skill or improving at anything, that they need this life-changing motivation or something to start doing something or to actually set out down their path. But that is the exact opposite of what you actually need. Literally, when I started this YouTube channel, when I make these videos, all I do is randomly in my head, I'm like, wow, I could just turn on my phone right now and start recording. Literally, all I have to do is I was literally just sitting down watching YouTube shorts a second ago. And all I have to do is just sit up, set my phone up, and start recording. And I think that's the way you need to look at doing your skill in general. How much friction is there between you being able to actually do something productive in your skill? How much friction is there between you laying down doing nothing and actually starting something within your skill? Okay? Because the less friction you can create in that moment, the least amount of friction you can create, the better. It should be very easy, very simple for you to actually just sit up and do something within the skill you're trying to learn. So if your bar for actually doing something is too high, you're never gonna cross into actually taking action. Does that make sense? When you're starting your skill, when you want to do a skill, the bar for actually taking action needs to be very low. You need to have a very low amount of friction into actually taking action into your skill. Anyways, that's a side note. I'm gonna get into the actual motivation part now, but I think that's gonna be a helpful tip for anybody who's already doing a skill and maybe they're burnt out on it and they're not trying as hard as they should. Can you find something to do that just takes less friction to start? So if you're learning a language, instead of being I need to go to my desk, set everything up, get a coffee, plan out my schedule for what I'm gonna study, no, just freaking turn on a YouTube video in your language you're trying to learn. Okay, if you're trying to get better at a video game, just freaking, instead of watching some random YouTube short, just go watch a pro player play the game while you're laying down in bed. If you're trying to learn a sport, just watch a competitive match in your sport, okay? Do something that requires little to no friction. First off, that's the first tip I'll give you about motivation. Just do something that's very simple, very easy to start. Anyways, moving into more actual tips for how you maintain drive and motivation. And I think this starts at a very fundamental level. My view is that if you don't have some kind of personal connection to what you're doing, if you don't have a good reason deep down inside to actually engage with whatever skill it is you're trying to learn, whatever you're trying to do in your life, you're probably never ever gonna have motivation to actually do it. How many times in your life have you had to do something that you actually have zero interest in on a personal level? Okay, we get in our heads because everyone is telling us to do one thing or the other, that we should be interested in certain things. But how many people actually know what they're interested in at their core? Okay? Once you actually discover something you're truly interested in at your core, you truly care about for some reason or another, because you know by doing this thing, by achieving results in this thing, it's actually going to make you into the person you want to be. Those are the things that you actually have motivation for. Those are the things that you can actually grow in quickly. Okay, those are the things where you can make exceptional growth. Something that you don't actually care about, that society has told you to care about or has told you it's important, but you don't actually feel any like burning desire to do that thing inside of you, how are you possibly going to fake motivation or make motivation for that thing? Even all these motivational speakers who say you need discipline before motivation, like motivation doesn't last, whatever, you need discipline. I think everything those people did, they had a reason for doing it. They knew at their core why they were doing it. So they say it took discipline, but actually I think they were motivated throughout that whole process. I think that they resonated so deeply with whatever they were trying to do that the motivation was always there for them because they just knew that was their purpose. Now, for me, I didn't always know, and I still don't entirely know what my purpose is, right? So I've flip-flopped through many, many different things, but I found that whatever I was most interested in, whatever I thought was like, for me, this is actually engaging to me on a personal level, something about this. And I've delved deep into why that is, right? You should look into why you like the things you like. A lot of people don't even know why they like the things they like. But those things that actually resonated with me, I was able to put so much effort into them because while everyone else was doing whatever it was for them, for me, I found the things I enjoyed, I liked, and because I liked them at a root level, I think I had plenty of motivation for them, okay? Now, that being said, are there gonna be times where you think, man, this fucking sucks, man, I don't wanna do this, man, I wanna try something else? Of course, there's ups and downs with every skill. You're never gonna have 100% motivation on any day. And that brings me back to the other point, right? If you don't have a ton of motivation one day, just do something that requires less friction. Just do something that's a little easier to get started within your skill, right? On days when I don't feel like recording a full YouTube video like this, I just take a YouTube short. It literally takes like 2 minutes of my day to make a YouTube short. And then after I've done that, I felt, wow, maybe like, let me rephrase it. If I only took 2 minutes and made a YouTube short, I know if I do that enough times, those are going to stack up over and over and over again, okay? Eventually the results are going to come from those small little things I do. They seem minuscule in the moment, but those are like the little moments that actually add up into something bigger. And when you do those little things over and over and over again, eventually your discipline, your motivation, it grows over time. The problem with most people when they start a skill or they're trying to learn something is they start here with this high motivation, like they're going to just go all out for their skill. You don't even know if you like it yet, right? So many people, I'm gonna learn this language. They're studying freaking 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day. They're like, they take a bunch of Post-it notes and stick them everywhere in their room. Like, that's gonna help them learn. Sure, it might help you learn. Like, it's great that you want to try something. I encourage you to try something. But I want you to flip your mindset. Instead of starting up here and then slowly degrading into nothing, why don't you start down here? Start slow, build up and up and up. As you start to see the results, as you move forward in the process, add more and more energy and time into it, because then you'll know for sure if it's something you actually want to do, right? When you start something new, you get these grand ideas in your head like, oh, this is what I want to do, and you're really motivated for a couple days, but it always drops off. Why? Because you didn't start slow. You didn't give yourself time to adjust to what you're doing. You didn't give yourself time to truly discover if it was something that resonated with you or not. So I think that's where motivation comes from. Are you doing something you actually care about? And I'll speak from like my experience. I've always just loved anything competitive. I love games. And the reason I love games is because there's so many things in the world you have to worry about. But when you're just trying to win a game or you're immersed in a game, for me, everything else fades away and I can just focus on that. And now it's not good to do that all the time, right? There's a lot of other things in life you need to take care of. But what is it for you that when you just sit there and do it, everything else starts to melt away, right? What is it for you that you can sit there and just do for hours and other people think, wow, that's boring. I don't want to do that. But for you, it's like, I could do that over and over and over again. I'll talk about a friend too. Like, This will show you the difference between people on their like core level. I have a friend, he plays Magic, and he loves like making decks in Magic, and he loves thinking about how cards are going to interact, how the deck is going to play in an actual game. And he likes theory crafting and, you know, trying new things and discovering things and sitting there and creating decks and sharing decks for other people to try and use. For me, I'm like, that is terrible. I don't want to do that on any stretch. But for him, that's enjoyable. So for him, that's the perfect thing to put a lot of time into and focus on, or something adjacent to that, something similar to that, something that he gets the same feeling from is what he should focus on. For me, like, I don't want to think about how cards interact with each other, all this stuff. Like, I prefer something like, for example, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or Rocket League. I also love language learning. That's kind of a different thing entirely. But I love just, for example, in Rocket League, it's just you and the car. Put the ball in the net. That's all there is to it. There's no theory crafting behind it. Sure, there's tons of theory that goes into how I'm going to get the ball into the net. If you don't know Rocket League, it's like it's like soccer, basically. But instead of using people, you play with the car. But yeah, for some reason or another, that resonated with me. I loved that. Okay, and I was able to try hard and climb high in that. And then once I felt like I kind of fell out of love with that, I moved on to the next thing and the next thing. And eventually, all the different things I did in my life led to me making this channel, which I have a lot of motivation for because it's something I actually enjoy, something that connects with me deeply. So to my viewer who is asking, how can I find drive and motivation? I encourage you to look beyond what people tell you you should like, what people tell you you should enjoy, and chase something that actually connects to you personally. And I understand people have a lot of outside circumstances that might affect their ability to do that. But as much as you can, I encourage you to move in that direction in your life to where you're moving into something that you actually have some fundamental interest for. And I think that having that fundamental interest for something is actually what a lot of motivation is actually what will give you a lot of motivation to keep going, to keep improving, to keep your drive up. So maybe this is not the exact answer you were expecting, but I hope it can help you on some level. And guys, as usual, if you have any questions about learning, please leave them in the comments. I'll give you my opinion on any question you have, even if it's unrelated to learning. You know what? Just put it in the comments anyways. I'll probably respond to it on some level or another. I'm not going to sit here and pretend my life is perfect. I'm like some guru. I'm not. But I'm more than willing to share my opinion. And if people find it helpful, even better. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, check out some of my other videos. Please leave a like and subscribe. Have a great day. Thank you so much.